So welcome to Manny's Designs. I'm going to go through my Winsor & Newton watercolour markers. So I really had the set of 6, and then I had the set of 12, and I gave the 6 to my daughter because she's doing illustration and animation. So of course watercolours are quite good for her. But I wanted to show the difference. So I bought this this carry case for markers, and it's a UTROT, and you have 80 slots, but I've changed mine. I've got my darks and browns on this side and my 3 watercolors from Derwent watercolor brushes, 1, 2 and 3. I have my favorite yellow, red, purple, blue, green, and then on the back I have some little dishes, and I think this one also fits in as well, little ceramic dishes. And I've got my rotring pens. Now these are isograph rotring pens, and I normally work with a 0.25 or a 0.35. There is a 0.85 there. So it's quite tiny is that one. And I've got white ink in mine. You can get red, blue, black. I've got and white. I've got red and blue because I wanted to put them together to make a sepia color. But at the moment I've got some white in there, and I'm using that for my snowflakes in my altered book. It's acrylic. It's an Indian ink, and it's permanent, and it even works on a Bible page. So it's quite good for not going through. So very quickly, what I thought I would do. Oh, hi Tina. Hi Melody. Hi V, welcome to Manny's Designs. This is a live show recorded for Ustream, live stream Thursday. And today, hopefully, we're going to get to our 700 video mark. But it's more about quality than quantity, really. So I hope in all those videos there is a little bit of something. And of course, the early ones are always going to be a bit rougher. So if you see one and then you think, oh, well, that's not very good, that's probably an early one. And things have evolved in the last couple of years. So I've been making videos for about 2 years, June a couple of years ago. So we've got the Winsor & Newton markers. Now in here, I'm guessing this is lemon yellow, cadmium red, Elysian crimson, Darkstein violet, cerulean blue. Then we had, I think that was cobalt blue, Hooker's green, sap green, raw sienna, burnt sienna, and black. I'm only guessing at those, but I got individually from Cass Art because they had an offer on in the UK. And there's no easy way to do this. You write down the colours you've got. And then you have to remember those colours, and then there's a long list to tick. So of the original 22, now I think they are all the same colours. I don't think, does it tell the colours on the back? I'm not sure if they could change the colours they put in, because it doesn't actually say what the 12 are. It just shows you colours. So you really need to check. But the ones I needed were I had cadmium, I had lemon yellow, and I had a cadmium yellow, but I needed the cadmium yellow hue, so the one in between. I didn't have gamboge or orange, and I had cadmium red ordinary, so I needed cadmium red hue. I think there is a list of actually all of them. I better not do that because I think sometimes it says on the box they're not always normally there. So I'll just read through all of them, and you have eliminate the 12 you get in your, if you want the full set, if that makes any sense. Hope that made sense. Oh, thank you, V. Thank you. So we've got a mouthful of tea, because this is right. We've got a lemon yellow hue. We've got a cadmium yellow pale, cadmium yellow, gamboge, cadmium orange, cadmium red pale, cadmium red deep. And then we have Elysian crimson, quinacridone magenta, permanent rose, pale rose, mauve. Then we have dioxidine purple, phthalo blue red shade. Now, I wouldn't have bought that, but because it was in the set, I have, and I actually really like it. So then we have cerulean blue, mid blue, Prussian blue, indigo, and this is phthalo blue green shade. So I've put it where the greener blues are. Then we have turquoise, phthalo green. We have a phthalo green yellow shade. So again, I've put it more that way than this way. And then we have Hooker's Green Dark, Hooker's Green, and Sap Green. And I actually looked at the loops to know that I could get these colours in this way. So on this side, I start with my yellow ochre, raw sienna, burnt red, burnt umber, raw umber, and sepia. Then we have Payne's grey. We have ivory black, and then we have lamp black. And kind of lamp black is the darkest, blackest black, if that's the right way. So I've got mine in tonal order, as I kind of call it. And I do like this particular way to work. So if I was just using greys and browns, then I just have this side open, and I could even turn that over. Sorry about that, and put the colour book here. If I was just using our sketchbook, if I was just using these tones. But what I like to do is to have this open next to me, which will go there. And I'm going to be using, I've got my favourite riggers. Outmaster Pearl Service, Series 11, Series 55, and riggers from Dale Rowney. And my sables are in here. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be using my sables today. I like these for my sketchbooks, for my mushrooms. So I'm going to pop those to one side. But that gives me the option of taking a sketchbook. So I'll be working with some of these today, I think. These are some of my favourite favorite colour book pages. So what I normally do is I look at the page and I think, well, okay, then in fact I should actually see what I used for this one. I can't remember what I used. Bear with me, guys. See if I can find. I don't remember what I used. I'm a bit like Ken Dodd. If anybody's seen the video before, can you tell me what I did next, please? Did I use my Series 7? I'm going to have to actually have a quick look because I can't remember. So bear with me a second, guys. I need to just have a look at the video. Oh, dear me. Sad girl, having to watch her own videos to remind herself what she's done. So I'll turn the volume down. And nope, I used my Derwent #1 water brush, which is quite nice because actually that was a surprise. So my #1 brush is here. I need to put some water in it. So this is a new set that I've put in here. just to use with these markers. So I love these because you can, and I can't squeeze very well, but you squeeze, tip it upside down into your water pot, and you're half full. So you squeeze it in, upside down, 3/4 full, and one last squeeze, and it's full. Oh, I dropped it. And I'm going to need a baby wipe. So that's now got water in it. So I don't need any water, so that's quite nice. I don't need to put, just looking for a baby wipe now, they're just out of reach. I think I'm going to use this little dish. I know it's dirty, but it's got acrylics in it, so I don't think it's going to go anywhere. And I'm going to make work quite small. So in my little art caddy, which I started using again, this big purple one, I put a little pack of, I found a little soap. So I thought, actually, I'm going to use that. So I've got a little pack of soap, and I should have a little pack of wipes. I found some small hand wipes. Found my stickies. And at the moment, I was going to put this little pot of soap cleaner in, but you know, you have to think, although that's the original, I'm not actually going to be using it for cleaning the brushes. I'm just using it for masking. So I think this little one will be just quite ample to put on there. So I'm trying to think small and thin. That's what I'm trying to think. So again, instead of a face wipe, I've got these little hand wipes, makeup removers, but it's a little tiny packet, so it would be perfect. Oh, it's actually an eye makeup pad, but it doesn't matter. It's going to work just perfect. I need a sticker under here to say that I'm going this page. Hopefully at the end we can put that to the other side and we know we've finished it. I think I'm going to fill that with water actually. Oh, mind you, I don't need water, do I? No, don't need water, so away we go now. Looks even better. Just think, I think I'm going to use some of these colours up. Tight Yorkshire Lass. So thanks for joining me, guys. I'll zoom in a bit. They're very pale, these. I can't remember how I did this before. So I'm just going to squeeze some water out. And of course, this is a new brush. So look at that beautiful, beautiful sharp point there. It's absolutely spectacular, is that? I think I'm actually going to put that in there. I think that will do quite well. So I'm going to pick up some of this purple. I'm going to do this little down here. So I'll do what we can see and then I'll zoom in a bit. So. And that's a little bit wetter than I like to work normally, but my old brushes have kind of really got used to me. So the idea is not to stimulate them too much. Yeah, it's a bit too wet, is this one? I might have to work with my older one. Yes, it's too wet, is that one? And I can't get my old one. This is my general one. I think that might be number 1. No, that's a number 3. Murphy's Law says the last one. I've got 2 sets in here. One of them must be a number 1. There we go. And it's got half water in it, so I'm sure it'll be fine. So this one isn't as clean, but when we squeeze it, it'll go almost to a point. So it's got kind of used to me as this one. So it doesn't like to be quite as strong. And of course, because we're doing this, we can actually mix colours together. This is a very quick and simple way to work. It's not detailed. It's not photorealism. It's just generally enjoying the journey. And that's what I like about this one. So thanks for stopping by, guys. This is a live show, live Thursday show. And I'm home alone now. The girls have gone. They've gone to a local supermarket well, we're not allowed to shake tins, but they're collecting for the RSPCA. So I kind of like the fact that we've got slightly, not grungy, but non-bright colours. But again, we might be able to see that this is painted different time to this. And again, that's sometimes very obvious. With colour books. But actually, it might be quite nice not to do those beautiful bright colours. Perhaps. I think I will use fresh colours though, because I kind of want them to be bright. I think they're not bright enough for me. So I'll put that on there. So I'll just try and pick some bright colours. So we've got a pink. So there is a video on how I started this. So I hope everybody's well and colouring in. Has anybody else got this book? We're all kind of Kirby mad. Kirby mad. Is that a phrase? I've got a bit of pink on there, and I don't want pink on there, so I think I'm going to put this little one under here. As soon as I've got some purple, I may as well use purple on this side. So again, that water brush is always soft. Now this particular one knows how I like to work. Sorry about the shadow. And the other good advantage of the iPad is you can swizzle things around. You can turn things around. So we have some cadmium orange, and I really like these markers. They're really easy to use, especially with a little water brush. You scratch a tiny bit out, not even the size of your little fingernail, and you're going to have some really beautiful bright colours. Now I didn't clean my brush so much, but I think sometimes it's quite nice that going to have sap green. And I had intended on working with these in the Joanna book, but I kind of like that. So I've got a little bit of green. I'm going to go over there and put that with that pink. We've got the of this. And again, you could do this kind of anywhere. So we have a blue, and I think we're going to have a quinacridone magenta just a little bit there. And I do tend to put, you see there's a tiny spot of blue on there, but that's fine. And I made a boo-boo there, so I just picked up the magenta over that blue, and I've got the most beautiful purple. So got a bit of a change there. There's a tiny butterfly under there. This one there. Oops. I was trying not to put purple with purple, but I failed on that one. So I think we're going to have that green in there as well. Sometimes it doesn't really bother me if the colours are the same. I'm going to take that out of there because it's not working for me. I need it to be flat. So again, sometimes you've got to get comfortable. You've got to find things that you like to use. I'm quite tempted to put that in the middle. Sorry guys for the tinging. I haven't got this mauve. That was quite nice. And that one. And I did softer colours with this one because obviously the other Kirby book I've used Peerless, which are very strong, so I want to be a little bit delicate if we could. That's a very pretty little butterfly. So thanks for stopping by, guys. Hope you're all okay. Is anybody else working in this Phantomorphia? I've got Gamboge, which is a beautiful warm yellow colour, orangey yellow. So we need, again, I've got to remember to be fairly pale, and I'm not. This is a bit full on, so and I do want a clean colour, really. I think we need a clean colour. I didn't put that in the book. So sometimes you get a watercolour effect and sometimes you don't, and you just have to kind of accept that. And I don't mind that. Sometimes I'll get a lovely watercolour effect and sometimes I won't, but it doesn't really bother me because it doesn't bother me because I'm using it in a very easy, flowy way, if that makes any sense. Oh, V says she's found some colouring books on sale. Oh, so waiting for happy mail. We all like happy mail. So again, we've got a purple. Again, I forgot to remember not to be too strong because the other colour page I did, sorry, the same page, but on the other side, was very strong. So this one's got to be soft colours, I think. I think we like soft colours. I think I'm going to have that one. Unfortunately, that wasn't that soft. Again, these are very, very strong, these colours. Very strong. So really, and they don't move. They only move well on watercolour paper. They don't kind of move well. I think we need some yellow teeth, and I think we're going to use a bit of yellow ochre for his teeth. We need some stained teeth. And of course, you can use whatever watercolours you've got, because there's nearly always a yellow ochre in there. So if we start dark, now we have a bumblebee in the room. Oops, wrong one. We can get some quite darks down there, but I wanted to just... We just need an off-white colour. He's definitely got grungy teeth. Oh, hi, May. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. Anybody else popping in? I don't know what reason I haven't got my phone, but I can't tweet that I'm on, but never mind. So thanks for joining me, guys. Hope you're okay. And like in there, maybe a bit of a bright yellow in there. And of course, this brush isn't going to be as fine as one of the other ones probably would be. So, and that's like a coral peach colour. So sometimes it's nice to mix the colours up a bit. But I would like to keep this fairly pale, because as I say, the other one I do have some very strong peerless colours in it. So this is to be a contrast, really. So I need some nice I used a turquoise. Yeah, let's get this beautiful turquoise colour out. And of course, remember I started this page with just the 12 colours. And yeah, I need to be a bit paler than this, I think. Yeah, put that colour in there. And there's no detail in this, so I've left the I haven't zoomed in, because it's just to show you how nice it is to just chill and not think too much of detail. I mean, I can think of too much of detail, but this is the chilling. This is the definite art for therapy. This is the kind of thing I'll be doing in the Abbey in the next few weeks, where people will come, pick a page, pick a medium, and then off they go to sit in a very peaceful atmosphere. That's the whole idea. We don't want to be having a big stressful art class. You know, that will come later if anybody wants to learn to draw and to paint the Abbey. But just for the minute, this is purely for therapy, and just to come and chill and feel the wonderful there's a wonderful feeling when you're in the abbey. It's very calming. And it doesn't matter what's happening outside. You walk in there and it's instant karma, instant, just pure, sucks the stress out of you. The minute you walk through the door, it's quite magical. And of course, magic's very unchristian, but it's just unbelievably amazing to walk in there. And I haven't had that experience with a lot of churches, I have to say. So it's quite wonderful. It's not even magical. It's I mean, I believe it is a gift from God that He expects you to feel that help and moment of absolute stress-free, I have to say. And I have to say I've got more confidence walking in there as well. I have to say I don't do very well when I leave there, but while I'm in there, I just have, and I don't know why, because it's all concrete floor, it's all stone floor. So if you're going to fall on that, you're going to do yourself a mischief. But I don't feel that I'm going to fall. It's a very strange feeling, I have to say. Now, I've muted that one down a little bit. But it's not going to bother me at all, really. And again, if you start mixing your colours, you get mud, which you don't do with your Derwent watercolour pencils. But again, we've gone back to original professional watercolours. So more than 3 colours, you'll end up with a muddy grey, which is beautiful if you're not doing bright butterflies. Oh, thank you, V. Did that make sense? I hope that made sense. I hope that made sense. I do hope that made sense. There's some really beautiful, strong colours. So I get the impression, really, that if you wanted to do the peerless, bright colours, you could do this. And again, I didn't know about these. I didn't know about these when I bought the other things. Now, I do like my peerless, and I would probably always have my peerless because they're not very expensive. It's the postage in England that kills you. It's £50 or £60 for the full set, and then you've got £50 or £60 postage. So, you know, unfortunately, you can't get away from that. But the peerless are spectacular to use. They're so easy. And as I said, when my husband was having a stroke, now, as much as I love these, and they are just as portable, I couldn't be taking these tops off because that would be annoying. On a stroke ward, you have to be quiet. Nobody was talking. Some people were muttering a bit. There was some guys rambling because we were on a stroke ward. But the karma in there, you've got to be very quiet. And of course, you want to sit with the loved one and luckily my book had just arrived. And this is when I suddenly realized that this is what this is all about. It's not about colouring a book first. It's not about finishing it first. It's not about who you are with your colours. The reason we do this, and I might cry, is my husband was having a stroke. Well, they said he'd had a stroke, and I had to go sit with him and take my daughter. And they said, well, we'll get the ambulance, but don't rush. Just go home, feed your daughter. And then she took her book with her and her colour things. And I just got this book here. And again, it's before my new rule. It's a year ago, March, since he had his stroke. And I picked the watercolors which has my peerless in it. I picked up my water brush. I think I had 1 and 2. And I held his hand and I coloured this in all day, sitting on the stroke ward. And I did think there's the mask when I came home, the armory, but I sat and I just got the colour on the end of the peerless and just touched different areas on different flowers until it got paler and paler. And then when it got paler, I went back. And I did the same with a leaf. I'd start somewhere, then go somewhere else, then come back. So I had this lovely area here. But I did this one-handed with the peerless and a little water brush from Derwent. And I have to say, that was the most calming thing that I've ever done. And I never thought that's what it was about, because as I say, if you're doing any art professionally, it's very stressful. But this really, really worked. You can't talk in a stroke ward, really. Hubby was trying not to panic. I was trying not to panic. And so we held hands and I did this. And I was actually sitting on my wheelchair at the time. I was in the wheelchair and I had this on my knee, a little book of watercolors open, and I used 2 colors. I used my favorite, which I can't remember, Geranium Lake, I think is my favorite. Is it Geranium Lake? And there was a darker green, a forest green. And they're the only 2 colours I used for the whole of this page. I just moved the colour when it was strong. I didn't go here. I went probably there. Then I went there. Then I went there. Then I came back. So by the time I'd come back to here, it was paler. And I just dotted about doing that. And that's 1 colour. And that was the most... The best moment that I realized that colouring in is for therapy. It is for calming. Oh, thank you, V. Yes, he did make a full recovery, I have to say. He did very well. The Derwent water brush is perfect. I didn't make any noise. I just sat there, but I was in my own little world. And I wasn't stressed, which, normally it would be if you're sitting there for 3 or 4 hours. I think we were there about 6 hours. So it took a long time, but it didn't matter. This kept me calm. And I never thought it would do that, but it did. And that's because of the way I did it. I had the book open. I had the Derwent water brush, which doesn't flood out lots of water. There's no crinkle on there whatsoever. And my little book of watercolors. I could have flicked the pages, but I used 2 colors. But it really, really works in that situation. And I didn't ever think that would happen. So it can be used for de-stressing and to kind of, you can't concentrate to read, really. Some people can, but I couldn't. And so it really does work in a situation. And if you are in hospital waiting for an operation, you could put yourself in that zone and you wouldn't be as stressed when it came to it. So it does really work on that level. And that's why I'm doing art in the RP, art for therapy. But I know we have artists that want to come in there and paint, but we also want somebody to go in there, sit in a safe place that you feel good and you can colour. And I will be getting to Bible journaling and colouring scriptures in the different books. So we have these for sale at the Abbey. But I've got so many colour books now that I'm actually going to be taking my colour books for people to tear a page out. So if they want to colour a certain page, they'll pick one. They can use their own things or bring their own things. If they haven't, they can start up and think, oh, well, I actually like that. I'm now going to go buy a colour book and some pencils because it works. And that's the idea of it. So I hope that made sense. Away. So bear with me 2 seconds. I'm just going to go make myself a drink of, see if I can get the kettle. If the girls haven't emptied the kettle, If they've emptied the kettle, I'm scupped, but if I haven't. So I'll be back in a second. It's almost done, guys. It's almost done. I am going to finish a page today. Yes, and this might be my 700th video. So I'm actually going to finish a page. It's taken 700 videos for me to finish a page. There are one or two are finished, but there aren't many, I have to say. I am a bit of a butterfly. So I shall be return in a second, and I'll bring my little book of watercolours, and then you can see what all the nonsense is about. And we've lost Alfie now. So I'll be back in a second, guys. Just make a mouthful of coffee. Oh, excuse me, slurping. Right, where were we? This is my little book of watercolors, and I've revamped it. It's had all sorts of shapes and sizes, but I think I don't like the plastic in it, and I think it's probably why I'm not using it as much. But the peel, these are the original squares, and I think it was the grass green. And I just sat, and I don't think there's any to do on here, but I just sat and did this. So I was holding hubby's hand. Let me see if I can just get that to be a bit kind of holding hubby's hand and just touching this and then colouring, touching this and colouring, going somewhere else, then. And the other one was, I have replaced it because it's my favourite red, is Tea Rose Red. So if you can see the one underneath, there's one underneath here. So, but it still did a long time. I've had these are the original squares. So I've had this an awfully long time. I love the peerless. You can have pale colours, you can have dark colours. So really like this if you have a lot of hospital appointments and where you have to be quiet, or if you're babysitting, anything where you have to be really quiet but you're going to be bored. Peerless are brilliant. You need a water brush, and the Derwent water brushes are the driest. Now I might buy a few more to do a test because they've got better over the years, but I still swear this one is the lightest, and the if you don't move the top of the if you don't activate the water like that, it's the driest. If you just use the tip, it's just barely damp. So actually you can get this quite nice. But the Kirby Roseanne pages are perfect. But this is how I did this particular book, one-handed. And of course you can't do that with any others, but it's one of my favourite pages. It's also not got any silly creatures in it because I don't like those, but it is one of my favourites. And I did want the white horse, so I haven't touched the horse, but and the little leaves and things, I haven't done that with me. But it has a nice memory, even though it wasn't nice, if that makes any sense. So hi to anybody I've missed. I hope everybody's all right. If you've got any questions. Oh, sorry, I missed a bit of chat up there. Sorry, guys. Oh, thank you, Melody. Yes, it was Tea Rose Red. Yeah, I love Tea Rose Red. And it's actually slightly pinkier than this. It's a pinky. It's not an orangey red. It's a pinky red. See if I can play with the colour a little bit. I don't normally play with colour because it's sometimes not nice if you mess it up too much. Oh, that's probably a little bit better actually. Colour out. That might be better, I think. I need it a little bit pinkier, and it's not going pinkier, but that looks okay. It is a bit pinkier. The color is not as pink. That's a pink color, so it's a red. It's a pinky red rather than an orange red, and at the moment it's showing orange red, but I still like it. It's still one of my faves. Oh, hi Katrina. Anybody else popping in? So I really enjoyed doing that one. Some of the other ones I've done as well, but I have to say, using my little book of watercolors is the best. And I've neglected it actually for a little while. So maybe because my wrists are bad, I should get it back again. So the Nias are in there, and the Derwent Peerless sorry, the Derwent ink tints are in there as well. And I think this is the book that I did the comparison with the. No, it isn't. It's one of the other ones. I did a comparison. Again, sometimes I can spot and remember what I did. This one, I'm pretty sure this one is. Oh, is either peerless or hydrous. Sorry, guys. I always think I know, and then I don't. And I didn't write it down. No, I didn't write it down. But it's all Derwent pastel pencil. Some things I can't remember, and some I can. I'm pretty sure that this purple is hydrous. So this one I'm going to do in peerless, because the peerless are just as bright if you use them like that. No, it must be the only other one that I haven't got here. It must be in. I haven't got that one. So I do like milk, and I haven't used it for a while, but I kind of want to kind of really stretch with these to see how far we get. So sorry, guys, that was a bit of a rabbit trail. A bit of a rabbit trail, but I kind of like this. So again, if you don't activate the tip too much, this brush is just perfect. And again, one-handed, you don't have to keep dunking into water. It takes that colour just to a nice watercolour. And it works for any pencil and any crayon. So I've got a little bit of blue left on here, so I might go somewhere else and put a very soft touch of blue. Again, Tight Yorkshire Lass, but you know, that's a beautiful pale blue, but I've got it from this. So again, I like that. I do that a lot with the peerless. Very strong colour, and take it down and down and down, and that's where you can get some quite nice effects. And it also means that when you do this, there's the tiniest little spot of colour. Most of the colour is on that page, and that's where I like it. I don't like to see it on there or in the water pot, because we're paying for this pigment, so we need to keep it nice and keep it where we want it. And I did have a sticky on that one. So I'm going to have a bit of cadmium red, and I do like the fact that I'm just using a little bit of this. I think this is going to be kind of a red. Red butterfly. Now, of course, you can do more than one colour on your butterflies. I just like two colours, I think is quite enough. And I've got this middle here now, so I think I'm going to just going to put that there. So that's a very soft, almost a coral colour now. And with the orangey red, I think I'm going to have a lovely soft sap green. And again, just a couple of little strokes. And again, I like that. I'm not squeezing out lots and lots. And I don't have to then add water to it to get it to the right consistency to then kind of mess about with it. All I can do is just pick it up and go. And that's a very easy way to work. So again, it comes out. Because I do love the watercolour tubes, but and the pans, you've still got all that work to do. Whereas this, you just... And I've got this tiniest amount of green. So I've got this lovely soft pale green now there. Very, very soft, that. You can hardly see it. So if anybody's got any questions, pop them in caps. So thanks for joining me. Hope everybody's okay. Oh, we've got our bumblebee back, our buzzy fly. I think I'm going to have a little bit of purple dioxide, guys, and just I love the fact that you can pick up as much or as little as you want, and I'm using them like peerless now. This is how you just touch and pick up the color, but the peerless. Where's my butterfly gone? Yeah. I've got quite a lot of purple going on there, but I think it still looks okay. I think it should be okay. So welcome everybody. Is anybody that I've missed? Hi May. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. It's almost finished. I'm going to have maybe a nut brown. I don't know. I may actually use Payne's grey, because if I darken this up a bit, the butterflies are going to pop out. So we need a little background for that one, and there's this nice blue here. And again, after a little while, you get used to your colours. And I don't like to think, oh, I'm going to have a pink one, then a grey one, then a pink one, and then it's just something that evolves. I'm just going to put that on there because I kind of like that. It's just something that's evolving. So again, it depends what mood you're in. Sometimes I'm in a bright mood, and sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I want some pale. I think I might do this. This one. Oh, this one. Oh, they've got some kind of three blues. It's kind of purple over there and blue over here. So I think I'll do this one here. I do have a little bit of a think. But I don't probably think too much about it, which is probably not that much of a good idea there. Oh, that's a nice colour with that. I like that. And again, sometimes when you're doing this, you find some nice colour matches. And so you've got an idea for another colour book or for something else. So sometimes that's quite nice as well. I can use that purple up here, I think, for this one. We've got quite a lot of purple. I think I might make that down there. And I do have a little bit of purple left on there. So if I go to blue, use a bit of that turquoise colour up. The Alf Master starts again. Hi, Alf. He's in the kitchen being a guard dog. He's been in the kitchen as a guard dog. Oh, he thinks he's a guard dog. I think we might have an orange down there. And I love the fact that, you've got the tiny, smallest bit of colour there. But we have some beautiful colours. And I've got a little bit of this orange left, so we'll see if we've left a butterfly out. He can have very, very soft, pale, peachy wings. And of course, now when I go to clean the brush, I've just wasted a tiny dot. So again, I really can't stress that enough. There's something quite nice about not wasting paint. So I think we're going to have a brighter orange down. No, that's a cadmium red pale. Again, I want to get off the pinky side, so I'm going to do this one up here, I think. I mean, it's an orangey red, so it looks very similar to vermilion, but they've called it red, cadmium red pale. But vermilion is about like that, so you want an orangey red. So don't ever think that you can't do something because you don't have that colour. And then a very pale orange there. I'm going to have a little bit of a hooker's green going on, I think. Actually, hooker's green and sap green, because the sap green's too light and the hooker's green's too deep. So I kind of like a mixture of the two. Now that's going to be very strong, so I'm just going to pop it over here just to see. That's not too bad. It just knocks that back a little bit. So I've actually got two very similar, but it's fine. I think we'll have a purple blue now up here. So this is almost like an ultramarine. So I must have made this because I don't have ultramarine in the set. So we've got like a cerulean blue. And if I just see if I can get a little bit. I've got some nice going on. Again, we've got to remember not too much water, but we've got a little bit of a highlight going on there. So that's quite nice. And a little dot. So we've got two more butterflies, then we'll do the skull. So I'm just going to pick up a bit of this pink. So of course now technically we can't name this because it's several different pinky reds watered down. And I've kind of made this purple. I don't think there was any purple there to begin with. And if you follow through with this brush gently, you get paler and paler and paler. So again, I kind of like that. So we've got one butterfly left to do, I think. And I think I'm going to do him, do like those colours. I think that's like a gamboge or a very warm yellow, and then add a bit of green. But I kind of want an olivey green. I think I want an olive green. I don't want a bright green. So a bit of orangey red into that. Just check we've not missed any little butterflies. I have a playing card there. So I did have a little bit of green on my, I just wasted the little bit of green, but not much. Certainly nothing to write home about. So I now need, let me have a look at, I don't like Payne's grey, but I think sepia is quite a darkish grey, but I don't, normally skulls are kind of a cold colour, but I don't want a cold colour. I want I want this colour here, which is a browny fawn colour, which is not probably skull colour at all, but it's a warm grey by the time it gets down here. So, and possibly I could have used a bigger brush, but more brush means more water. So more water means more V says he wants to protect his mummy. Yeah. Somehow I don't think that's on Alfie's agenda, but and of all the videos that I've made, whether he's been in the room or he's been out the room, he's been outside, doesn't matter where he's been, he's barked and he's ruined every video. He's on every video, so he's a bit of a gate crasher. And again, if you're using a big space, you have to keep breaking it up now, because one thing this does not like, you get a crinkle. And I don't mind so many crinkles, but if you don't need to have a crinkle, then, let's not have one. But I'm not going to cry and stamp my feet if I get a crinkle. I don't want it to be too strong, really. And it's not going to be too skull-like because it's a warm skull colour, when really skulls are cool. So I've used that little scrap up. I'm going to put another bit there. But again, I'm using a pure colour, so I don't have to colour match. If you were doing a big area, you might want, and you were mixing the colour for it, you need to mix a lot more, because you can always use it again. These dry. These are light, fast, professional watercolours, so they're going to dry on this plate, but I'm going to be able to still use them, so we're not wasting them. So I'm going to pick out each individual little bit. And that will allow less crinkle. So we need a bit more. So anybody got any questions? Oh, bye, May. Thanks for popping in. Have a wonderful day. Oh, Katrina says, how old's the dog? We thought he was 4, but we think he's 5. We think he's 5, almost. He's a rescue, though, so he's... Oh, I should be able to tell you. Wait a minute. I should be able to tell you if this is correct. Bear with me a second. I have the date. Because I took a photograph of him when he had to be weighed. Because he was too small. I think he'd been taken away from his mum too early, which is why he's why he's like he is. But he does get spoiled. He's spoilt rotten is our Alf pants. Nigel calls him the Alf Master, and Samantha says it's Alfie's world because he thinks the entire world evolves around him. He's not allowed on the furniture. No, okay, then he's not allowed on the furniture. No. Alfie, get down. Yeah, okay, yeah. First, then I might think of it. Yeah, he's a spoilt boy, but I did take a photograph of him when he was a did. He was my neighbour's dog, and so I did see him when he was little. And when I say little, I'm yeah, not supposed to be doing that, Mummy, but I am, Mummy. And when I was in the other studio, every time I went up to go do something, he would be sitting in the seat waiting for me. But I'm looking for Mr. Cute Boy. He's very photogenic as our Alf Pants. I'm hoping that there might be a date on it. Yeah. I'm not supposed to be sitting in the car, Mummy, on the seat. I'm supposed to be sitting on the floor, Mummy. Yeah. Can you get that one as well? No, I'm not doing what I want. And that's the first time we clipped him. And he was like, look at the state of me, Mummy. Yeah, it's a bit of a cute boy. But is there a date on this? Oh, I don't have a date. This is what he looked like when he was next door. He was such a little did. But you can tell he's cross-eyed even there. I was trying to work out how many ounces he was because he was underweight. But that's the Elf Master. That's the naughty boy that ruins every video. There he is. There he is. He's just 4 years older now. I was thinking there might be a date on it, but there isn't. But yeah, there he is. That's the bad puppy. And he's a bit bigger now. I think I sketched that in Critter. I think I used Critter digital art medium, but you can tell he's cross-eyed. Bless him. He can look in 2 rooms at the same time. But yeah, that's our bad puppy. And he's still bad. He's still bad. But in the room because he chases the cat. So our fur babies, and Betsy's getting a bit better. That's our Doodles and she's actually in the same room as me, with her feet out in the sun. So she's getting a bit better. She still looks miserable though. She's still miserable. She's still a bit of a miserable pants. And then we still have Snotty Bungle. Yeah, she does like having her feet out. Yes, he does. I think I've sketched him in Sai, and in there's SAI, which is a digital painting app, and there's also and this is Piggles. Piggles is really thin now, bless her, and that's the Elf Master being a pest. So yeah, they are, and I took these photographs of the Abbey, when it was very sunny. And I have some like mushrooms underneath. So some really wacky sun refraction going on, light refraction in. And of course you can't look through your camera, even on your phone. It was a completely blank screen. So I was just hoping I got some of the Abbey in there. So there's a couple of really nice ones. I've taken the daisies as well because I want to use the days in my colour books. So I was picking out the daisies. Yes, he has beautiful eyes. He's such a bad puppy, though. He really is. Cannot tell you how naughty he is. He is, to me, of naughtiness. He invented naughtiness. And Betsy's doing quite well. Oh, there's some new kittens on the block. We have some new kittens at the RSPCA. And we may as well have a kitten. Oh, these are from Victoria. And they've been rehomed now. But very quickly we'll have some new kids on the block. Now for coffee. I really don't like coffee. It gives me indigestion, but ow, 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 ow. Sorry, guys. So really quickly, I know we've got another battery. We'll show you the new kids on the block. So, oh, this isn't a new girl, a baby. This is a cat that wants rehoming. So she's in the pen. I haven't seen these because I couldn't get to the pen. I was a bit lame. So my daughter went, I love that one. Isn't it just scrumptious? I think I may have to paint that. I think I have to paint that. So she's just being peekaboo. I really like the eyes on that one. I think that has to be perhaps a portrait. Oh, is it that one? One of them, the eyes are just beautiful with the lights. Yes, V, it's very difficult, especially when they climb in my handbag. My daughter carries my big bag in, and 9 times out of 10, there's kittens in there. So yeah, she was playing. So she's in the pens, so she's having a play. She absolutely scrumptious, though. Isn't she scrumptious? And then we have the kittens. So I managed to get, I like that one. That's the one that I thought I could paint. Love the light in the eye on that one. Some beautiful colours in that eye. So these at the moment are on the Ghoul RSPCA website. There she is. There's another one. One of them will sit still and one won't. Oh, that's quite a nice portrait picture, that. I love it when the light catches their eyes. Oh, that's my mushrooms. So these are the new kids on the block. They are 3 weeks old. So they'll be weaning next week. So these are 3 weeks old. Just a bundle of goodness. And she kept moving the babies about. Absolutely scrumptious. Could eat them all. And she settled down a bit. She was a bit of a funny cat. She was always moving the babies about. So I took these photographs, trying to get a picture of her. And she was doing exercises and swinging about. She was doing everything she was supposed to do. And the poor kittens, every time she did it, they kind of fell off. But this was quite sweet. They're all, if I just do that, if I do that. This is quite sweet. This is what she was like all the time, moving about. The kittens would fall off. One would fall off. Then she'd do that and the other would fall off. So this is what I do on a Wednesday. And so don't ever think because you're in a wheelchair you can't do anything, because I sit and play with kittens. Now, I couldn't bend down to pick them up, but they kept putting them on my hands and getting used to being stroked. And she was such a good mum letting me do that. So that's what I do on a Wednesday morning. I go and sit and play with kittens. And I did have a couple of really good photographs of them. That was a lovely one. Let's see if I can just... Oh, my wrist. I may have actually broken my scaphoid again. Look at his... He has got his eyes open, but you can't tell. Isn't he beautiful? In fact, tell a lie. That's the only girl we found. I found it. That's the girl. All the others are boys. But I might make a couple of cards because I managed to get that photograph. So we might make some RSPCA cards because I think that is just scrumptious. I managed to get 3 good ones. And I got a lovely one with Mum, and she left them. She was just having a chill out. So this is what I think that was slightly better. They're all looking at me. But they're only about 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, 2 weeks old there. So they're so diddy. They are really tiny. They are really tiny. And this is Betsy at the moment. So Betsy's doing quite well. Again, not allowed on the table. Yeah, okay. So Betsy still looks cross, but she's doing really well. And she adores Bungle. And there is a little bit of a video of them. They're in my studio at the minute. It's so warm. Look at Bungle. Oh, thank you, V. Thank you. They are also scrumptious. Well, with Bungle, it was 3 weeks. It was 3 weeks trying not to bring him home because he was just scrumptious. But two of them, the other two, Victor and Victoria, they were last week when I went to play with them. I do take lots of photographs because I was trying to get a nice one of the kittens, and of course they're always wriggling and moving about. And go the other way. You go the other way. This is the ones I got for. This is Victor and Victoria. There's Victor, and again, a couple of portrait paintings there, and that's Victoria. And Victoria was such a bad kitten, and if you can see the hundreds of pictures I took in 2 hours to try and get a nice one of them, because she was beating the socks off him. Look at that for a photograph. She was a little terror, and she'd throw him. Is this the one she throws him? She throws him on the floor, and this is where he looks away, and she bops him right at the nose. And they were like that for 3 hours. I was trying to get some nice photographs of them asleep. So Victor and Victoria I think they've been rehomed, but she was just a little doll, but she was so naughty. And normally I play with them and they go to sleep, and then we feed them and I get them used to being played with. But these two were definitely not going to sleep. So every week there's different kittens. But Victor was so gorgeous, but she would not sit still. She would not sit still. So his real colouring was quite dark. And I think is that the one that I got the face? And the colouring, he was so pretty. And because I'm sitting near the window on the sofa, I got some really beautiful shots of his colouring. So I think there might be a portrait coming out there. I do tend to do them. I mean, she just would not stop beating the poor little boy up. And the brother and sister, it's just the two of them. This was a nice one. She almost wanted to go to sleep for a minute, and then that lasted like 30 seconds. I think this is the one that I chose. I think that's the one with the eyes. It's just scrumptious. Scrumdiddlyumptious. So that's what I do on a Wednesday morning. I play with kittens. I like the colour on this one, though. I think I like the dark colours better. And again, the reflection on the eyes is going to look better. But I think these two are the pictures that actually got her adopted when we did the RSPCA thing. So taking those photographs. So things change all the time with the cats. They really do. But don't ever think because you're in a wheelchair you can't do anything, because I sit and play with those, and believe me, I get more out of it than they do. But we've been handling them, and then it's better for them because they can be rehomed. So it's my daughter cleans the pens out, and I play with the kitties. But I think they're all boys apart from she's the little girl. She's the little girl, the one with the most black on. And he weighs the most, actually. So I managed to get a couple of really cute pictures. I did. So, and of course, their eyes, they were only 2 and a bit weeks old there. So their eyes weren't kind of really with it. They're just starting to play now. And I didn't get any photographs this week. I don't think I did, no. This is this week, my daughter. Yep, I didn't. And my studio's almost there, but we've got to sort the sun out. So I'll be in the studio soon. So there are all my colour book pages. Oopsie. But yeah, I have an awful job. So my daughter took this. She's going a bit up for adoption, and I think they're on my phone actually. Let me have a look. And we're the smallest branch. I think we're the smallest branch. So I think I was sent some pictures of some of the cats, because we've got some quite old ones as well. Pretty. This one, he's old, bless him. I've forgotten his name, beg your pardon. That's Buddy. He's 5. Buddy's gorgeous. And then we have Rocco. That's Rocco. So I'm going to be making a little film about the puds to go. So yeah, I did take kind of a lot of photographs. So that's an update, and so they'll be weaned next week. So that's quite nice. But we fostered, oh, that's what I was going to show you. We fostered a little man last Christmas, but because Bungle's got this snotty nose, we don't know if it's infectious. So so last Christmas, and this is, I love this pose of Betsy because she was so stressed when she came, and that's her in the studio, just chilling out. And I love that picture. It's such a fab picture of her, because normally she's not happy. And there's the bungle. So when we found out about his snotty nose, we can kind of do something about him, but we can't do anything about his nose at the minute. He may just not be any better. He may just always be like this. We'll have to see. This was the other picture that I was going to paint. That one. I'm going to paint that one of Alfie because I love that one. He's such a cheeky boy. So I think I painted this one in Sai. I didn't do it on the laptop because I didn't have it. I did it on the laptop, sorry, with the I have a Yugi 5067, and it has 2 pens, and if you use it with a laptop or a computer, you draw here. Actually, you can draw on it, and it was £250. Now they've brought out 2 better ones of Yugi. The little one for 50 I gave my daughter. That's like the Wacoms. You draw on here and you see the screen. Well, I like to actually draw on what I'm drawing, so that's. But you can get software called Sai, CAI. You can use Critter, and I do like Critter and Sai if I'm using it for my when I'm drawing. So this was Leonard. We rescued we fostered rather, sorry, Leonard. So this was Leonard. He had really dark markings, very dark. And Betsy really liked, she really took to him very well. And that's my studio when it was built. Didn't know that it was rubbish, but anyway, hopefully we shall be in it soon. And so that photograph I've used to paint in Sai. Oh, I'll tell a lie. Let me have a look. Was it Sai? No, it wasn't. I painted it in Art Rage because I recognise Circle. Oh no, did I? Yes, it's Art Rage, is that? But that Art Rage, that's not the app version. That's the full version that you buy. So that was Little Man with his beautiful dark eyes. Oh yes, Katrina, do we have any bunnies? Yes, we do. We have. I don't think I've got the pictures of the babies here. Let me have a look. These are the 3 musketeers, and there's only 3 of them. So that's Alfie, the deaf incontinent Dexter, who's about 13, 14, and the lurcher, and she's about 13, 14 as well. So that's the Brady Bunch. And then we have the buns. And the buns, where are the buns? When the bunnies were babies, let's get a mummy bunny. And she happened to be pregnant, which we didn't know at the time. Them to feed them, then jumping straight off. So we used to hold them. Looking for a photograph. I used to put on her back and stroke her ears and talk to her. And the girls would put the babies, which were as big as our little fingers, like little worms, on the tummy. And as soon as they got them on the tummy, they knew what to do. They wriggled and they latched on. And we did that for about 3 or 4 days. And then she was on the bed and she got one of the bunnies and her foot was this big and the baby was this big. And this little baby went meow on the sofa. So we decided that was too risky. She didn't like three babies on, but she'd do 2. So we got this, and these are the babies. And this is when we're moving into the room. And this bunny decided that she was going to, this was the runt, this is the tiny bunny. And she decided that she was going to actually jump on there and move in. The plaster's all wet. Look, I've moved in. This is my space. I'm cute. And because she was the tiniest, we put her on first. So we had this bunny, this giant lop ear with these little tiny diddy things. So we put a big dish of food in front of her, and I held her head and stroked her ears while she was eating, and the girls put the babies underneath. And the little one, who is now the biggest, we put on for 10 minutes. And then we took her off and we put the others on for 10 minutes. And then we put the runt minutes, and it ended up that they were bigger. So we ended up with 3 babies and a mummy bunny. And then we'd already rescued an older bunny. Baby bunny, because he nipped somebody, so he would be going to slaughter. She would be going to be killed because she'd bitten lots of people, the big mummy bunny. And we had George, who was best friends with the disabled bunny, the famous Thumper, who inspired Bunny's designs. So that's a bit of a update on the bunny. So we've got a whole room. They've taken over the dining room. So I'm not happy about that, but because my daughter's fanatical about them having a lot of room. Well, they've got more room than I have now. I have the whole dining room. It's now a stable. But it's fine. But she thinks they all should have the run of the house. She's oh my goodness. And she stresses very easily, so put a bit of this dark brown on there. So I'm working with sepia. It's the wrong colour for the skull. It's a warm grey. I'd call it a brown grey. It's a grey brown or a brown grey. And I like it as a warm black. I use it as a warm black instead of black. But I have been using a little bit of black. I don't normally. I like to make my own blacks. But again, because these marker pens are so easy to use, I'm tending to use them in a completely different way than I normally would. So again, that's quite nice because it gets it out of your comfort zone. So instead of having a real dark grey cold skull, I've got quite a warm one there. Oh, thank you, Katrina. You mean I have a small zoo? Yeah, we have a small zoo. We did rescue 3 parrots, and we rescue anything that nobody wants, because the dogs would have been destroyed. The bunnies would have been destroyed. We have 4 cats. They're all rescued. Betsy would have had a real hard time because she'd have been so stressed that it was difficult. But it's taken almost a year for her to come out of her shell a bit. And she still runs away when anybody goes near her, but she's slightly better than she was. every week there is a very slight improvement. And when I feed her, I try to stroke her. And at first she wouldn't let me. She wouldn't eat until you were out the room. But now she's tolerant. She looks at you. She's not happy, but she will tolerate you. And that was a big step. There's a couple of early videos with her where she was okay with me, but then she went in my daughter's bedroom and I lost touch with her. So again, that's taken a long time to get back. It's a bit of a big space to use that with. So it's never an easy job if you're taking on an animal that. But we thought weaning might be quite good for me because you've got to do it every 2 hours, and because I don't sleep well anyway, I'm normally awake all night anyway. So for anybody that works, it's more difficult. So, but we have to get rid of Bungle's snotty nose first. But Betsy hasn't got it, and they clean each other. So I don't think it's infectious. I think it's more likely to be a virus that he can't get rid of. So poor Bungle, but he does get very, very snotty. If you can imagine the snottiest kid on the block. Yeah, Candlesticks has got nothing on Bungle. That's all I'm going to say. Candlesticks. Candlesticks. Don't know if I think I'm going to do that dark, I think. So it's a big space, but I've only used half a dozen little circles of the sepia. So, you know, a little drop goes a long way. And I just want to go over that one. Again, I like to go over them in small sections. Then you don't get your buckle. So I think I've done it all. I'm just going to put a bit of, and I don't normally use lamp black. But I'll show you the difference between lamp black and ivory black. So ivory black is kind of warm. And lamp black is blacker. And ivory black, I think, is a little bit of a warmer, slightly warmer black. So I think I finished a page. I suppose I just have to put a very light grey wash over the card, and then I can say I've done everything, I think. So I finished a page, so I can take my little sticker from the top and I can put it on the side. Oops. And it means I've finished a page. Yay! So the next one, and again, it's dried as that, so that's quite good. And it's not as warm today. So this is the next page. So I now need a thicker. So that's the update on the bunnies. So Betsy's still going strong. But again, it's going to be a long way. And the bunnies have got a full room. The little dears. The little dears. Now, I'm hoping I've put... No, I didn't. I was hoping I'd put my... Oh, here they are. So I've got... And I paid 10p for these, actually, so they're normally quite expensive. So that was the first page. So now that's my next page I have to do, and I'm going to put that there. So these are the pages I've started, and these are the pages I've finished. Excuse me, has anybody got any questions? Oh, gold. I like... There's my little book. What little book? I think I picked it up. That's the little book. I think there's gamboge and cadmium yellow. But what did I do? Gold. I did something gold. Let's find something gold and we'll have a practice, because you want yellows, but you also want a yellow ochre, because if you look at gold, it can be yellow gold, it can be rose gold, but if there's a shadow, that's almost a dark brown. So we've got bright yellow to white. So we had white to yellow there. But then I can't see what else have we got. It's a golden colour. There must be something. Is there a trellis? Not a trellis, a chalice. I'm getting like Hilda Baker. Oh, look, we've got more roses. Ooh, tea rose red. Yes. Actually, we haven't got tea rose red, but we could make tea rose red. Ooh. So that's what I'll do for that. Make a little note. See, most of the time I don't have a clue what I'm going to do. This one I want to do, see if we can match Peerless with the watercolors. Need a pencil. Again, sometimes things happen, so we want to make, oh, and my pen's decided it's going to be silly. Make tea rose red with Windsor and Newton watercolor markers. Actually, it means breaking my rule, but we could do that gold. It does mean I'm breaking my rule. Well, this might be gold. I'll do this gold, but yes, we could do this gold. So I'll do this page next, shall I? Right, I'm going to start with a palette. I'm going to put that back in there before I forget. I did have my little palette. If you look at gold in here, if we look at, there's a Caran d'Ache one. I don't think they do it anymore. But I've got gold in Caran d'Ache. But in Derwent watercolor pencils, number 3, I think, is gold. Yeah, number 3 is called gold. This one. So there's a deep cadmium, but it's like a yellow ochre, but it's also got a highlight to it as well. So we'll have a play with that. So it's a very pale yellow, and then it can almost be a straw color. So if we look there, we've got a very pale one. Then we've got almost a sienna there, not sienna because that's red. Yellow ochre, and then there's another little extra. So it's not as light as that one. So that looks almost like a pale yellow, or you've got yellow ochre with white, and then you could put a touch of complementary color to it, which is the purple, to get that dull shade there, or a straw color. So we'll try different ones. Let's have a look. So I do need a bit of a clean palette. Oh, sorry guys. So I need to just use that for a minute. So I'm going to put gamboge there. That's the warmest before an orange. And I've got cadmium yellow. Cadmium yellow hue. So that's pale. I don't think lemon yellow. I think it's too cold, is that? And then I want yellow ochre. So let's have a look. So you can always put your pale colour down first. Make sure that my little brush, although it looks dirty, it's clean, because of course if you touch that you're going to get green. So let's have a bit of a practice. So we'll have so we've kind of got like a bit of a leafy thing going on. So leave that for a second, and then we'll do that one. So we've got a pale yellow here, so I'm going to put a pale colour on the top. That's the palest, and again, because that's your highlight. And then you might just have a glint there if there's a light from somewhere else. Then the next one would be this one. Remember to leave that highlight. I shouldn't have done it in pencil really, because we can't see it real well. So then we've got the cadmium, the other cadmium yellow. And of course, not only have you got your colour, but you're trying to make it look a rounded thing as well. So remember, we've got to kind of make them a bit round. And then that's the gamboge, which is kind of the so we've got gamboge. I'll zoom in a bit and see. Oh, hi Suzanne, you've just missed Naughty Boy. You've just missed the bear puppy. He's in the other room, but I'm sure he'll be with us in a bit. I'll zoom in a bit and you can see what I'm doing maybe a bit better. And we'll use our feet to focus. So you've just missed the barking. So welcome to Bunny's Designs. Anybody else popping in? I keep forgetting my camera's all over the place. So that was lemon yellow, pale cadmium, gamboge, and raw yellow ochre. So again, you can build up a bit more of that colour, and then we'll try a bit of this to see if we can have like a so I would use those colours. And mess about with that. You can probably do another layer on there. I think probably the highlight would be probably not quite there. Of course, these are watercolours because they can move about a bit. But those are the colours that I would use, sorry guys, for gold. And I do have a pencil line on there, but we've got a bit of a highlight. And I think we could try a little bit of raw sienna, but I think it's too dark. Is raw sienna? Raw sienna might be nice as well. Raw sienna, and I'll put a touch of yellow ochre next to it so you can see because you want it a warm, unless it's a gold, a yellow gold, but it depends if it's going to be a warm gold or a yellow gold. And I think we might just put a little bit of a tint on there. So we want warm if it's gold. We want warm, and then when it's got the highlight, we want it colder. So it might look like gold. I don't know if anybody else, what other colours do people use for gold? It's wipeout time because of the colours. That maybe you can see that a little bit better. Just going to rearrange my camera slightly. So I can work here instead of hanging off the edge. So I've got some quite darks on there, but you can't see them very well. But start with the palest colour. But the thing to do is to look at something gold. That's or brass. Brass and anything shiny, because that's what I was going to do with one of the lessons, is anything shiny. Anything sparkly. So have we got any questions? Oh, hi Kimberly, welcome to Bunny's Designs. Anybody else popping in? I'm not quite sure how to because I can't get to my face wipes. And I really don't like these because they're fragrant and they make me cough, but never mind. We're there. So we can do that in this one. I think I've done a couple of gold things. I think. Let me have a look at the other Kirby one. I have it handy. I think I've done that page. Done that one yet. Very quick comparison while I've got them here. The two peerless and watercolors. So two. I've forgotten I zoomed in, guys. Sorry about that. Right. So I'll do this very quickly because again it's working quick. So I think I'll start with the lemon yellow. Just scratching a size of a 5p. Clean water brush. And I'm going to pick up. So again, this is quite good because we know where all the lights are. So I'm going to put this yellow where there's no line. But obviously stay within the pattern. That looks like snow. That. So I mean, you could put it everywhere, but we don't need to. We just need to put it on the top there. Now I played with the colour. I wonder if I played with it too much. Let's see if I can really do this differently. Give me a second. I think that's slightly better. It's a very, very pale yellow. Hardly see it. Let's see if that makes it slightly better. Oh, sorry guys. Goodness me, sorry. So get some yellow out. This is lemon yellow. Oh, I've done something to the colour. Sorry, guys, I don't know what I've done with the colour. Disappeared. It is a very pale colour, I have to say. Sorry, guys, just did a I did a restore because I'd messed up. Oh, and that's the first time I've had flash out. The first time it's done that. I have to put Alfie there to stop flash out. So I have put a pale colour there. So where there is a shape and no cross hatching or shading, we want the pale colour. I'll just do that little bit here. No, I just realised that's snow, isn't it? It doesn't matter, I can go over it. I'll go over it, it's fine. Right, so we've got, it is actually snow, that. Of course, I've just realised, I think that's snow. So the next one is light cadmium. And yellow ochre. So light cadmium, kind of put light cadmium in there as well. And then I can put a little bit of this yellow ochre underneath, and it's just kind of giving it that shadow colour. So that looks probably like brass, I suppose, maybe. I think we need a bit of a warmer, a very, very light highlight would be lemon yellow. The medium colour is cadmium, and then yellow ochre. I think that's the best for metal. For gold, perhaps. I don't know what everybody else uses. If you've got any better colours, please let me know. I don't normally colour gold and things, so I think I have done it before in a couple of books, but I just can't remember offhand where they are. And then we probably need a little bit of a shadow. And again, I would probably do this with a real fine brush, not this one. Just underneath. So we've got a real nice bit of shadow going on, and it depends what we've got at the background. Now, it could be a dark background. It could be a light background. I'm quite tempted to darken it, and then I could possibly have this as snow, and I could have my snowflakes on there. That might look quite nice. The big problem with doing this is it will take such a long time to colour it all, because it always takes such a long time. And I'm probably not going to touch that top section because that's the lightest. And of course now I've realised that that is actually snow, so and then we've got a yellow ochre. There's a bit of a shadow. So I'd play with the yellows. The highest highlight, or the lightest highlight, would be lemon yellow, and the darkest gold could even be a brown, but I like yellow ochre to give it that bit of depth. And I'm only taking out a little scribble at a time. Again, just go back in there with a little bit of and do a bit of a shadow. Oh, the light's gone in now. Again, should have a smaller brush for the very shadows. I'd have a smaller brush. Oops, sorry guys, I've lost chat. Oh, thank you, Suzanne. Thank you. The Bennett Klein Metallics. Thank you. This should be the 700th video, I think. And so I can't keep track of what I've done. I have a little buckle there because I went over it twice, but it's fine. Again, I could be working with all these darker colours. If I take sepia out, so we have sepia and also raw umber. And burnt umber. So if I put, now I've decided to do all my windows dark instead of light. And it's a warm grey is sepia. It's very cold. It's cold, sorry, but it's not a black, but I'm using it as a warm dark, if that makes any sense. And yeah, it's a cold brown, but when you think of black, it's actually warmer than black. So I use it as a warm grey, but technically it's a cold brown. It depends on how you look at it. So you can either say it's a cold brown, which would make quite good shadows for darks. I think the sienna is a bit too warm for what I want it for, but actually I suppose it'll be okay. We'll have a warm castle. So we've got these colours. So we've got some burnt sienna. So raw sienna I'm using as my lightest colour. And because I've got quite a few roofs, I'm going to do those that colour. So I'll be this one. And I'm going to leave the snow because I'm going to do something with the snow in a bit. So we've got these roofs to go, so they're kind of paler. A couple on that side. And again, I like this little brush. It's quite fine, but it's not going to give too much detail. Now I've got some snow on that one, so I'm going to leave that one. So I've done all the little roofs, I think. So I'm now going to go into this one. So it's going to be quite warm. It's not really a cold castle. It's golden, but it's probably going to be a little bit of a warmer castle. Could have used the brick red actually. Let's bring a bit of this. Burnt red is normally what people use for bricks. I've forgotten the other colour, but it's a fox colour as well, so it could be a little bit too red, but we'll it's a brick red. It's what we would call a brick red. But I kind of like that. It gives it a bit of warmth. And we can kind of mix that in a bit. I'd also use this for a fox colour as well. Red fox, brick red. Could add a touch of brown if you really wanted to. I think I'm going to put these dark under here. Again, this is working quite loosely, but I actually kind of like working like this. It's quite nice to be a bit looser. And I'm not using very much paint at all. So and then we can have a bit of that red underneath. Sorry guys. Alfie's chucking his weight around again. Bless him. There we go. There you go, Suzanne, your boy. That's your boy. Yep. You see, 700 videos, and he's barked on every single one. I mean, there's nothing to bark at. He can't see the front of the house. So he can't see anybody going past. And yet, he's telling you that he's barking, but I think he likes the sound of his own bark sometimes. So sorry guys if you're watching on YouTube. It's a video hazard, Alfie. If we manage to get through a video without any Alf Masters interruptions, it's a miracle, but we don't tend to do it. And I honestly think even when he went away, they took him out for the day. He came back and barked on the last bit, and I think he's technically barked on every single video we've made. It's just a terror boy. But we love him, I think, still, just maybe, possibly. But he's a naughty puppy. I keep calling him a puppy. He's not a pup anymore. So I kind of like this. It's very kind of snowy. He's our mascot, yes. Naughty mascot, though. Yeah, I don't think it's something to be proud of. He's a terrapin. I do like that sepia for my darks. Then I like the raw umber. The raw umber doesn't seem to be as good. I don't know if it's been because it's been used. I'm not sure. I might have to look at that one. So I've got the darker bits I quite like. Cold. Using as a dark shadow instead of black. But once it gets on, it's as I say, it's either a cold brown or a warm grey, depending on how you look at it. So, but as a shadow, as a warm shadow, it's fab. Instead of using black. And again, sometimes. Now, because this isn't watercolor, these are soaking in because these are professional watercolors. Whereas normally they would soak it. They wouldn't soak in. They would sit on top and you can maneuver them. But because this isn't what it is, it's not watercolor paper. It's just a good quality color book paper. We don't have the versatility of swishing it around and scrubbing like we can on our watercolor paper. So. I'm going to darken that one. I forgot I didn't darken that one. They're not quite as dark. There seems to be quite a lot of snow on there as well. So we've got some sepia. I don't know. No, perhaps it hasn't been used. Perhaps it's just... Most of them came in packaging, actually. Most of them were in packaging with the pens that were in the original packaging, so I was quite pleased with that. Made me think. Oops, I've lost chat. Sorry, guys. Oh, you've just reminded me. Hi, Picola. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. No, I'm not, and I must do because bear with me 2 seconds, guys. Because if I don't use the Ethernet when I replay it on YouTube, it's lousy. So thanks for reminding me, Picola. Thank you. I might do that. So that was a little practice. Let me pan out. It's been a couple of hours, so I'm going to end this stream. And I'm sorry to ask, guys, if you could pop back on. So I kind of like that, working with browns and golds. We've got a bit of gold thing going on. So we've got a little bit of a metal work. If you want brass, you could put a touch of orangey reds in there, and that would really kind of warm it up a bit. But and copper would be a pinkier red. So we might have to have a play with those. When I do my copper kettles and my brass kettles for the mushrooms, that's the time to play with colour. I did do one mushroom in that very quickly, a gold. We're talking about gold. I did a teapot. I'm sure I call it a teapot thing. Oh, I must have missed my teapot. Yeah, I think I must have missed the teapot. So I really like these markers. Very pale, soft, beautiful colours. Like this. Again, it was never going to be an easy one, but I am going to put very quickly, I shouldn't do this first, but because I have my rotary pen with white, it's Indian ink permanent. I can go back in here and really whiten these up. This might be too small, this brush actually. Oh, don't forget we have white gouache. This is a slightly bigger 0.35, this one. And I've been using it for my snowflakes. So we can go over there and kind of really put these snowflakes back on. And then we can maybe have some darks further down so that they really do stand out. So it is more of a snowy. Is it snow or crystal? I think it's snow because it looks like it's ice off here. So I think that's what that one is. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to change to my Ethernet. Which way around do we now? That's better. I'll change to my Ethernet. And that's the end of watercolours in the Mythomorphia. Thanks for watching.